Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day and a wonderful weekend. Let's take another look here at Solana, see what's going on, down 1% on the day, rejecting quite perfectly off that 0.5 fib level at about 220. In fact, I think the local high here was $2.19, sorry, 219 and 83 cents. So pretty much $200.20. So again, good stuff there. That's kind of expected. When I analyzed this yesterday, I mentioned that we were at that local point of control at 217. Probably going to see some resistance in the 220 range, and the likelihood of the price pulling back from there is higher. Now, I'm not here to tell you that I've said so. It's more so just a simple fact that the coin was overextended after already being initially overextended for that initial breakout through that resistance, and then Bitcoin kind of going sideways. Solana is just kind of retracing and kind of folks are securing profits basically. Okay, so it's not a guarantee it's going to continue lower, but I think the likelihood of 210 to 205, 203 is still there, and we just got to be mindful of that. Okay. So again, there's a handful of things that are happening here, but this is a nice little flag pattern too, depending on how you look at it. So again, a lot of cool little stuff that could absolutely continue to happen. So the truth is, this coin is very bullish right now. You don't want to short into it. There's just no other way around it. But natural capitulation, natural pullback to local highs is a very sensible thing. So again, if you want to get some skin in the game now, perfectly understood, but maybe consider a secondary or tertiary target at 210. Again, I'm paraphrasing here, roughly 209, and then of course 203, maybe 205. Okay. I'll discuss more about that here in a minute. As far as specifics, I'll also post a playout chart in our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. And of course, if this is a coin that I'm looking to take a trade with, which it kind of is, if it comes down a little bit lower, then I'm going to shoot out basically a playout chart to our community there, or sorry, a trade alert rather, so you can kind of see what that looks like. Future reference, folks, I do have trade alerts here, kind of giving you an indication what's going on. Like I told folks yesterday about the SEY, plan to take a long in the 430 range, which we did. We subsequently secured about 58%, 59% in the last 2 days here for that. So again, the trade alerts are there for a reason, so make sure you take advantage of those. Just kind of giving you a little bit more meat and potatoes on the coins that I'm covering. So for Solana, what we want to look at here is some pretty straightforward, simple stuff. We're right smack dab in the middle of some pretty heavy liquidation ranges. So just to clarify, if the price goes down lower, again, this is why 210 makes a lot of sense. We got a pretty large chunk of liquidation between 213 and 210. It starts to kind of dissipate a little bit as you get lower. Again, this is just the last 12 hours rather, so it's just kind of more short term. We look at the larger, more macro perspective. It's much more sensible for the price to go up to 220 because there's a pretty heavy pocket there. Okay. Again, you can kind of see that here, pretty big chunk. If I count it up, each one of these bars is roughly about a little over $1 billion. So there's basically $3 billion in liquidation at 221. So what's to prevent the price from coming up just a few more dollars to hit that level, destroy a bunch of accounts, then turn back as if it never happened, right? It's a very common occurrence. We're also seeing our liquidation delta pretty high for a decent time frame, right? This is about a day and a half now that it's been this range. So this basically just implies that there's too many people taking long positions and that natural pullback would make sense. Now, do I recommend shorting this coin at this point to lower levels? No, I don't think the profit margin is high enough. I think that the risk to reward ratio is super low, or super high rather, too much risk, not enough reward. So I don't necessarily recommend that. Again, you're never going to hear me recommending shorting a coin that is broken its descending trend line and key level resistances and is outperforming Bitcoin. You're never going to hear me say that. Because again, the price, will it pull back? Probably. Does it make any sense to try to shorten that tighter margin? Not at all. But if we take a look at this point of control here, basically open interest, we can see 209 once again reaffirming itself there. 210 is an easy round number as that local area of support. In other words, a lot of folks are long right there as the price just about broke out. So if you look at this here, you saw this nice little cup and handle type of pattern, or more so just a handle. And when you retest that resistance level, more likely to break, which it did. And we can see a lot of folks are heavy there. That's good because if the price comes back down, they're going to be more willing to continue to buy at that range versus selling, okay, because they're at break even. So it doesn't make a ton of sense that the price is going to go too much lower than that. If it does, again, secondary to that, we got 196, 197. So again, I mentioned previously that low 200, upper 190s is a good support range. We know that, but secondary to that, roughly 210. Cool thing is, Solana is kind of working out with these nice round numbers. So 200 is an easy number to remember. 210 is easy, 220 is easy, and the next target, what do you know? Just above 230, okay? So pretty much all round numbers, just every $10. So let's take a look at the daily time frame, work our way down. see what's going on here. And again, this potential play out from yesterday is still very much in play. I think it is likely to see a pivot off 210 and or 203. Okay. Now let's take a quick look at the moving averages and recognize that we are tentatively again rejecting at that 220. There's a lot of confluence at 220 for resistance with that 50-day SMA hanging out there. We're over the 20 as long as we remain above the 20-day SMA, which, what do you know, hanging out right there at 197. Pretty good stuff, right? So kind of just reaffirming support and resistance. We're probably going to range between 196 and 220 for a short while until the price inevitably breaks out in either direction. For the most part, though, this is all bullish, right? We're over 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is above the price action. Never short into that kind of price action. Basically just implying that we have more buying pressure recently than we had before. Keep in mind, the volume bars are a lot smaller now, but that's mainly because there was a ton of selling and buying pressure at this time. Right now, there's only really a lot of buying pressure. So until these volume candles start to increase, I don't feel super confident the price is going to take off. But again, it just kind of implies there's not a lot of sellers at this point. There's the market makers letting the price go up so they can sell when they want to. Probably going to be closer to the 230 ranges. That's when we're going to probably see the most amount of resistance. Either way, MACD's converging. These are all very positive signs. 4-hour time frame is also reflecting super positive situation here. We can see 4 moving averages all below the price action. Once again, some confluence here with the 20 and the 200 SMA hanging out there at about 209. Okay, so I think a better case scenario here is an entry at 209. Extremely best case scenario is an entry at 203. And I'm referring to longs, so not taking any kind of shorts at this point with this coin. Doesn't make a ton of sense. MACD is diverging. You got to keep this in mind. Most coins are exuding this behavior. Bitcoin and SUI, Bitcoin is, and Solana is following Bitcoin fairly consistent. So with Bitcoin kind of on the potential retrace, there's a good chance that we're going to see Solana do the same thing here. Once again, there is also some flag patterns here that are forming, right? Bitcoin has a very, very similar pattern too. So it could very well break out to the upside. There's a ton of buying pressure at the 97K range. So all that in combination here, what does that mean for Solana? Well, it's probably going to follow suit with Bitcoin. It's fairly well aligned at this moment, especially with Bitcoin dominance kind of drawing dead here at that 57% range. So not a whole heck of a lot here to really discuss in that regard. We got mostly bullish signs here with potential of retracement to these lower levels. We look at the hourly time frame, it's probably going to reflect the same thing here. In a way it does, but in a way it doesn't. Let me explain this here. So Ichimoku Cloud, if you're not familiar with it, or maybe you've used it and you're just kind of maybe newer, there's 3 elements, okay? The lagging span is the green guy in the back. That basically, once that crosses the price action, is generally construed as a no buy zone or secure profits on your long position. If you're in a long from Solana from the 180s, 190s, maybe consider securing profits. Don't be that ridiculous person that holds on for too long and you're getting eaten up on fees in the back end and you post on social media how great you are because you had a 200% gain on a $5 trade, okay? Don't do that. That really does nothing for the internet or the world. What is important is to recognize that the conversion line and the baseline are shifting, right? The blue line is below the red line, basically telling us we've lost momentum. While this is a bullish type of flag pattern and we're above the cloud, that's very positive, there's a distinct probability that the price could continue lower, right? And again, a lot of that comes with the simple fact that the lagging span being within the price action generally implies that we've hit a wall. Unless the price breaks out soon, there's no reason to consider trading. Again, it's a conservative indicator. It's going to tell us you generally want to only trade when there's 3 out of 3 indications of the price action breaking out. Right now, we only have one reason to consider a trade, which is just the Ichimoku Cloud here. This green bars, this upper and lower lead here. That's basically telling us we're still in good shape, which is true. We're above all moving averages. We're in very good shape here. Solana is not bearish whatsoever. Just know that the window of opportunity has effectively closed, and you should probably consider sitting on the sidelines and waiting for a confirming factor instead of forcing a trade right now. Because taking a long right now with the price probably going to pull back a little bit doesn't make a ton of sense. Either way you look at it, the likelihood of the price going up overall is still great. That's the funny thing about this. So a lot of times you have like these kind of give and takes, right? And to me, this isn't enough to warrant a long position on this coin. I would much rather take a long that may never happen at 210, 209, or 203 as a secondary consideration for entry. So again, patience comes to those who wait, right? You're going to find more benefit if you're more patient. So again, when we took these trades here with SUI, for example, I think we got in at 435 and we got it out at 525. While this isn't an SUI analysis, it's still relevant to understand that when we took those trades, they were taken with confirmation. There's multiple confirming factors. There's a lot of confirming factors here for Solana, but it just doesn't seem like we're in the position right now where the price should take off. More specifically, this being kind of a weird, funky weekend where a lot of prices are going sideways. Okay? So if you want to get some skin in the game, totally understand it. Just know we have our local point of control at 217 and 220. So until we close above 220, there's no real reason to want to consider a long unless the price pulls back to this more desirable location. And at that point, we'd probably need to wait even further for confirmation to ensure we're not moving in a descending trend there, more specifically with Bitcoin. So I know it sucks. You watch this video and you're kind of wishing you you maybe haven't because you didn't get the answers you're looking for, but that is the truth of how it works here. I'm not just going to tell you this coin is going to go to the moon because I want you to watch my videos or I want you to hit the like and follow my videos. It does nothing for you at the end of the day if I'm wrong, right? But the truth is 95% of trading is not trading, okay? And you got to realize that. Eventually you will at some point. It took me, 10, 15 years to discover that. Now I'm 20 years in, been pretty consistent, and I can tell you it's a good place to be, but you're not going to please everybody all the time. All right. Anyways, thanks again so much for watching. As per usual, my Solana followers are pretty amazing. You're awesome. Check out Bitunix too if you haven't already. Use my link to register. You'll be eligible for these pretty significant rewards. They got a nice little Rolex and a MacBook Pro eventually, or available rather this month if you hit the volume rewards. And of course, I'm going to post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, or Discord. Tune into this, maybe enable alerts if you want. I just kind of give you insight on what I'm thinking the coin's going to do next, right? Just kind of a good summary, a lot of good stuff there. Hope you have a good one. Thanks again so much for your time. We'll see you again soon. Take care.